Hi CCA families. I'm Dede Dankelson, or more commonly known as Peter Dankelson's mom. But he and I have spoken with, I don't know, hundreds of schools over the last 5 years. So I'm going to talk in this video about middle school age kids. That's the primary audience for the Wonder Book. I would say 5th and 6th grade are usually the curriculum grades that read the book, sometimes 4th. What I'm going to talk about in this Know Your Audience video is kind of aimed at 3rd to 8th grade, just kind of keeping in mind the younger kids. Well, really none of the kids should see anything too graphic, but especially the younger kids. The kids in 3rd to 6th grade are really, really excited to meet Peter. Typically they've read Wonder, and they are they're just really curious. I think some of them are a little concerned that they're going to be scared of how he looks, and then maybe they're surprised that it's not that big of a deal. But these kids are very, very excited, which makes it exciting for you to be there because they're all like super pumped up about meeting you. So it really just creates a lot of energy when you show up at the school, which is fun. It really makes it fun. Peter starts out by introducing himself, his name, his age and school level, and he doesn't say I'm going to be a junior or I'm going to be a senior to 3rd graders because they might not know what that means. So he says things like I'm going to be in 11th grade, or like this year he says I'm in 12th grade, and that's the highest grade. So you have to kind of put things into context with whatever grade level you're speaking with. So he talks about himself. He introduces his family, myself, and I'm always there with him. And he mentions that he has a brother, and talks a little bit just about Jacob likes to play travel, hockey and golf, and his dad has to work, so he's not there. So, we keep it light, and it's just a couple seconds of, this is my family, and that immediately starts to relate the fact that the similarities between Peter and the students. So he has a family. And then that's a nice segue into saying, I also have this extended family, Children's Craniofacial Association. And one of the things that Peter likes to say a lot is CCA. Well, the audience does not know who CCA is necessarily. So make sure that you say Children's Craniofacial Association, and maybe have a slide with just, the CCA logo, or a photo of you at the retreat with the logo. And that's one thing about the content in the slides, if you use a slideshow, and I do encourage you to use that. Not a lot of text on the slides, just a title and 1 to 2 photos per slide. Pictures are very powerful, and they make a big impact, especially like with Peter. We show a lot of photos from when he was younger. We show a photo of him from Halloween, because he used to always dress up as a Star Wars character, like Augie. So he was even Boba Fett one year, and especially the younger kids, the 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, they're in that age range where they're dressing up like those characters for Halloween. So talk about yourself, introduce your family. It's a nice way to introduce Children's Craniofacial Association as part of your extended family, or we say that CCA is our tribe. Because it's a group of people that get it, and that we feel so comfortable with, and have given us a lot of support. And then that continues that conversation about, Peter talks about his favorite hobbies, things he likes to do. We talk about that Peter loves music, and he shows a little video of himself playing guitar. We have dogs. We love our dogs. He has a sibling. He loves his sibling, but he fights with his sibling like normal siblings do. So those are 3 things that are very relatable to just about any student that you're going to talk to. And then after we talk about similarities, we also talk about Peter's medical journey kind of throughout that too. But you have to be careful to not use terms that kids aren't going to understand. So like maybe with our families who we all know each other with craniofacial issues, we might talk about a trachestoma or a trach, and they might not know what that is. So we do introduce those things and talk about them, but share your medical journey, talk about similarities, Then we spend the last few minutes talking about how we had in common and how you can't assume things about someone just based on how they look, and that there is a difference between being friendly versus being a friend. It's nice to be friendly, and everyone should be friendly. We should all wave, smile, make eye contact, say hello. But there's a difference between being friendly and being a friend. Being a friend means you take action, you engage with someone, you have a conversation, you go sit with the person alone at lunch or alone at recess, and you invite them to play basketball with you at recess. You actually spend time with someone. It's not just a passive thing. You know, some kids are like, well, I'm not a bully, I'm not mean, and that's great. But they're also not taking that next step. And what we really want kids to do is take that next step, because it's so important for our kids. And the older grade levels, you can talk about being a friend is being an upstander versus being friendly is more of a bystander. And if they've read Wonder, the best way to get them to understand this is to say, being a friend is like Summer. She got up and she sat down with Augie at the lunch table. Being friendly is like Charlotte. Charlotte was friendly, but she didn't take it to the next level and engage. And this is more the book. I think the movie shows Charlotte being a little more of a friend, so that the movie kind of confused that point a little bit, but we use Charlotte's precept in all of our presentations for this age group that reads Wonder. Her precept is, sometimes it's not enough to be friendly, you have to be a friend. And so in the book, Charlotte realizes that at the end, that she didn't go out of her way to get to know Augie and to be a friend to him. She was nice, but she was also more concerned about her, how it would reflect back on her with her peer group. We talk a little bit about that, and you don't want to get too preachy or anything, just kind of 1 or 2 slides. There's a difference to point that out, because then they start to think about it. And then we ask them to take some kind of action. We have them take a kindness pledge. So Peter says, I want you guys to repeat after me. Kindness is free, kindness is contagious, and kindness is cool. And then the last slide is, make kindness your superpower, or kindness is my superpower. So that's something we've used. You can create your own action phrase, or, repeat after me phrase. Or you can ask them specifically to do something, like notice someone that looks lonely today or that's not sitting with anyone at lunch, and go sit down with them. Grab another friend and both of you go sit down with them. Any kind of action item, but make it very simple. And again, my only other tip for 3 to 8 is 7th and 8th graders do not want to answer questions or engage in that conversation. They're kind of too cool at that point. So 3rd through 6th graders love answering questions. They love raising their hands. They love all that stuff. But yeah, I noticed the first time we spoke with 7th and 8th graders, I thought, did they even read this book? Because they weren't like reacting to what we were saying, and I didn't feel like I was getting good feedback from them. And then it kind of dawned on me that they're kind of at that age where they're kind of too cool. So that's grades 3 to 8. Hopefully it has some helpful tips for you guys. Bye.